I'm really excited about this discussion that we're about to have. I'm Keani Rawlins-Fernandez. I was born and raised on Molokai, and I serve on the Maui County Council as the Council Vice Chair and the Chair of the Budget, Finance, and Economic Development Committee. And Todd will kind of go more into some of the background of Molokai and what makes Molokai so special, and some of our community's goals relevant to today's discussion. Last year, I had the opportunity to host an in-person panel about the history of investment in Hawaii and the meaning of Ahupua investment. The Ahupua model involves acknowledging that everything is connected, cultivating a relationship with the Aina and natural elements, and working together with the Aina and elements to promote abundance. From this perspective, our Oiwi ancestors approached the Ahupua by investing positive inputs. The Ahupua from the Levalani, which is the Earth's atmosphere, cycles pure water to the forest. The trees, moss, and other plants absorbs what it can, sending down water into the aquifer, and the excess flows down the mountain where Kanaka built a way to direct the water into the Lo'ikalo, both promoting more aquifer recharge via permaculture and increasing the amount of nutrients that flow down into the muliwai, the brackish water in the ocean that feed the limu, the seaweed, which in turn feeds the baby fish. The Lo'ikalo also helps recharge impounded waters to increase the flow of springs that Kanaka built loko'i'a, fish ponds around, which again creates the just the right brackish water environment to promote limu growth that attract the baby fish. This approach is almost the opposite of what we see today, where the laws established protect us from preventing too much negative inputs, such as pollution going downstream, affecting downstream users. And it also takes us from the standpoint of scarcity. How much water are we able to extract until we permanently destroy our aquifer? And so I love this Ahupua approach, Ahupua model, and the ESG model that we'll be talking about today. Today, we will be joined by 3 panelists with a great deal of social responsibility investment expertise and 3 in the trenches of Hawaii-based knowledge and experience, ranging from the regulatory to countywide and community-driven renewable energy development. Among the questions we will be addressing this morning are: why is Maui County's geographic isolation and economic and innovation advantage? How can Native Hawaiian and community ownership of assets be supported? What types of investments and funding are available for community-based infrastructure and renewable energy projects? And to the panelists, please excuse me in advance if I interrupt you to explain any terminology that may be new to people, to our audience, as I want to be sure that all of our audience, regardless of their background and experience, are able to fully understand and appreciate the discussion. And one last thing, if you have any questions, audience members, if you have any questions during the presentation, please either post them in the Q&A, or if you are on Facebook, you may post your questions in the comments section. And then depending on our time constraints, we will either answer them at the end of the panel or directly after. We'll begin our conversation on Molokai. Like many residents of the island and in Maui County as a whole, Todd Yamashita, a 4th generation Molokai resident and father of 2 young boys, serves many roles in our community. He's a founding member and volunteer board president of Hoʻāhu Energy Cooperative Molokai. He is also the publisher of the Molokai Dispatch, Molokai Director of Operations for Hawaii marine animal response and a worldwide voyager on the Hawaiian canoe Hoʻāhu. Todd has a background in communications, outreach, marketing, design, and fundraising. And so we'll start with our first question. Todd, will you please start us off by telling us a little bit about Hoʻāhu Energy Co-op, why it's important to Molokai residents, and the co-op's opportunities and challenges?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Keani. And I just wanted to thank everybody for coming together today and thank this group for, shedding some light on Molokai. I think we're doing some pretty amazing things here. And I hope to share that with you guys really quickly through a presentation to help answer that question that you just answered or asked me. So I'm going to share my screen real quick and tell you guys about Hoʻāhu Cooperative Molokai. Okay, so this is the backside of Molokai, one of the most beautiful places I know. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay. So I was just going to really quickly tell you about our island. We have our nickname is Aina Momona, which means the bountiful earth. It's one of many nicknames that we have. The island is the 5th largest of the major Hawaiian islands, and we're directly in the middle of the island chain. Well, population of about 7,200. Who are we? Molokai is indigenous. We're 62% by population Hawaiian. We are farmers, subsistence hunters, gatherers. We're definitely a rural people, and I would say for the most part, we try to live by the values of our culture. Our people understood that their lives and the life of the land were inextricably linked and perpetuated through stewardship. Molokai made its mark at the beginning of the Aloha Aina movement in the 1970s. The movement succeeded in guaranteeing Native Hawaiian gathering rights and shoreline access statewide, and would go on to defeat the US military by ending its target bombing on Kaho'olawe. It was this fight that helped galvanize a renaissance in Hawaiian culture that is ongoing and evolving today. However, there really remains a lot of struggles here on Molokai. In the past year, the prices for freight, food, and gas have absolutely skyrocketed. Unfortunately, our island-wide poverty rate is just about at 19%, where the nationwide is about 10%. In terms of energy, Molokai people use the least amount of electricity per capita, and we are rewarded with some of the highest prices in the nation. So, we've learned from our kupuna that we need to protect the things that we love. At the center of this is our community. It's our friends, our family, and the people who we love. And so the question isn't whether we should act or not to serve our people, to help ourselves. To honor our kupuna and our future generations, we must act. We must push back against oppression. Simply, we need to succeed to survive. The sun, the wind, the rain, and other energy sources in the public realm, we believe should benefit the communities and future generations who steward and safeguard these vital resources. Our relationship with energy must be inclusive and complementary to a healthy community and environment. Molokai has been without controversy for about a decade now, and in this space we ask, what is the path back to abundance? How do we honor our kupuna who have done the hard work to keep our open spaces and our vibrant culture? How do we transition from a reactive to a proactive community? So we look towards Mauna Kea, Kuhuku, Standing Rock. We look at how energy and science have a responsibility in putting their communities up front at the top of the process. We realize that there is no justice without equity, and that flipping the script from extraction to empowerment is the only way forward. So in Molokai, we're taking the reins of our energy future by embracing a grassroots cooperative model that's really new to Hawaii's growing renewable energy market. We're a consumer-based co-op that is community-led and community-focused. And we're right now defining what it means to be truly community-owned. So community-based renewable energy, or CBRE, is an energy program created so that grid-scale energy projects can directly benefit subscribers. So basically with CBRE, renters and other people who can't typically install solar and take advantage of solar where they live, they can still take advantage of solar and energy savings from projects that are built and operated on their behalf. So it's kind of like a virtual solar program. Last year, HECO announced a 2.75 megawatt CBRE program for Molokai, which is about 20% of Molokai's energy needs. And so our volunteer community energy group, which has been meeting for years now, we decided like this is the catalyst. We've got to come together. This is a great reason, you know, to build something that can create equity for our community. So by taking the role of the project leader, our nonprofit co-op can drive more value and cost savings for our subscribers and reduce energy costs, hopefully by 10% or more for more than about 1,400 households. So we're hoping to hit at least half of Molokai, reduce that energy bill for just about everybody. Hoʻāhu, basically our name, it means to collect, to compile, to gather, to lay away, to store away. As future farmers of the sun, our Hawaiian practitioners gifted us this beautiful name in the spirit that comes with it. So Hoʻāhu's success right now is being determined by our ability to engage and inform our community, as well as to take on energy partners who share our values and empower us with the expertise and tools that we need to compete with on these technical projects. Some of these partners, Shake Energy, we have 2 energy partners that we've taken on, and it took us about a year really to research and filter through who it is that we should partner with. So really quickly, Shake Collaborative is a woman-owned public benefit energy developer, and Mana Pacific is a social impact and benefit corporation. And so you can see that, you know, we chose developers who share our values. So workforce development is something, is another area that we have already partnered with Maui County, thanks to some of the work that we've done with Keani and the Maui County Council. We have recently gotten funding to help empower some of our local people here, give them the tools and the training that they need so that no matter who builds these future projects for Molokai, that our guys here on Molokai will have the first crack at some of these jobs and stuff like that. And you guys, real quick, this is just a sketch of our 2.5 megawatt plus power storage plant. So this is just kind of gives you a visual idea of what it is that we're trying to build. And yesterday, our community had a 3-hour session with the Public Utilities Commission. It was a status conference. And the PUC itself described it as unprecedented. And, you know, so we've started a dialogue that puts the community further towards the front of the process. And we're using this space to push really hard so that projects include increased community benefit and value. So, you know, in order to succeed right now, we need to build capacity. We need to find financial partners that complement who we are, complement our lifestyle, complement our culture, and find value in our social impact story. And, you know, the thing about this project that I think is really important for us here on Molokai is that it goes beyond Molokai. This is not just about us guys over here. Everything that we're doing is we're trying to push the envelope. We're trying to get the community at the front of these larger projects so that there's less of this friction. There's less of this stress on our smaller communities. And so we're sharing out everything that we're doing with a broader network of people throughout the state and trying to empower them as well. I hope I didn't go too far over time, but and I hope that also answers your question, Keani.
Mahalo, Todd. Yeah, in the Ahupua model, who are our downstream users? They are our children, our future generations. So mahalo for underscoring that in your presentation, Todd. My second question for you is what kinds of support do you need in the short and long term, particularly when it comes to capacity building and investment?
That's a really good question. Short and long term. So for our CBRE project, our goal really is community ownership through the co-op model. We truly want our people to own this project. And so majority ownership that we would need for that project would come from upfront buy-in from our subscribers. We are engaging with the Hawaii GEMS, then that stands for the Hawaii Green Infrastructure Authority. That's a fund here in Hawaii that's created to support subscriber and ratepayer kind models and stuff like that. So we're using that to help with on-bill financing so that people who basically engage or become a subscriber, they can see their savings and everything on the same electric bill that they get from the utility. We're also looking for like regular debt, USDA low interest, and especially grants. We need grants. Just, you know, it's free, not free money, but it's practically free money that builds values on behalf of, you know, of our people. So, however, you know, as the name implies, Hoʻāhu is a lot bigger than the CBRE project, and we're looking down the road for like the next 40, 50 years of energy on Molokai. And it goes beyond just the conversation of these utility projects and large scale utility projects. We actually have a whole portfolio of projects that we're looking at down the road. And you know, if I were actually put a number on it, let's just say, you know, 10 to $20 million roughly is kind of what we're looking for. You know, and so the challenge is really to find investors who will work with somebody new, where we really don't have a track record. We're hoping that the CBRE project will be our kind of like our foot in the door. We need somebody who will let us be flexible with our money, and who might seek an alternative to typical returns. You know, like social impact. The story of what we're doing, I think, is really unique. And not just like I said, not just empowering for our community, but empowering for Hawaii in general, and hopefully other smaller indigenous communities throughout the world. So, you know, and what do I have to say about the risk of working with someone new? I just want to say we're worth the risk. You know, this is a grassroots effort that's coming directly from the community. We've been doing the really heavy gauging, the heavy lifting by engaging our community, and making sure that everything has been transparent throughout. And you know, we're vested. We need to succeed to survive, right? So you can guarantee that we're going to make this work one way or the other. I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely, mahalo. We're all directly invested in the success of our community. And another way to look at grants is it's our way of collectively investing in projects that bring the most value to all of us in the county, or you know, statewide, as you stated. And you know, with social impact investment, some of those returns, you know, have collective benefit